Born in the heart of Wisconsin, where tradition runs deep and good stories start around a tailgate. Join your host, Eric Tasker, and former Major League pitcher Paul Wagner as they dive into hunting, fishing, conservation, and the great outdoors, and share the stories that come with it. Because out here, it's more than a pastime, it's a way of life. Everything outdoors, and the stories that make good memories. This is Tailgate Talk.
Okay, Mr. Wagner, we had 30 seconds of awkward silence because we didn't hear the music. My headphones are dead. But we're up and running. It's Thanksgiving week, and I think we're in a snowmageddon. Yeah. So that's how we're going to start the show.
Yeah.
And you're talking about, boy, in Kansas, the deer move all the time. And here, our entire mindset is they're hiding, they're tucked away, they're probably covered in snow right now, and they're not moving.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It's been an interesting morning in southeastern Wisconsin because we woke up and I thought honestly last night my garbage cans that we use for like mulch and grass clippings and whatever, I thought one was going to go through my neighbor's window. It was just banging around between the houses, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's time to pull those in. What an interesting morning for gun season, huh?
Yeah, and I was really, not even the season, I was really disappointed because I knew the snow was coming after Thanksgiving. So today is obviously Wednesday morning, and I thought the snow was coming Saturday. Okay. And I have so many leaves that I have to blow off the lawn and in the yard and get them into that spot. So now all of a sudden here we've got, I don't know, maybe, let's just say be generous, an inch of snow, which isn't going to leave.
Yeah.
Then Saturday, I've seen anywhere between 6 to 10 inches. Okay. My yard is going, this spring, if they don't clean up, if this spring comes along and I don't get those leaves off quick, I'm not going to have to worry about grass. The leaves are going to kill everything.
It's going to be a big compost yard.
It's going to be so miserable. But again, on that positive note, like you said, with the wind, as we were talking off the air, yeah, you're right. When I had the farm in Kansas, when we'd get out there, we'd be like, this wind, the gusts are huge. We're talking 25 to 30 mile an hour gusts. Yeah. This may be a bar day. You know what? They're not going to.
Right.
No, in Kansas, the deer are accustomed to this. They walk, they roam, they eat, they do every daily activity you can imagine. Here, right now, I guarantee you they are buckled down, and they are protecting themselves because they're not used to this.
Yeah, this is definitely. I mean, as we're looking out the window here, boy, you just see the trees just blowing around, and I just think back to all the times that I'm like, you know what? I'm going to brave it out, and I'm going to sit in my stand. I'm going to get up the tree. I'm going to sit out there. I'm just holding on for dear life, and I'm about to throw my shoulder out of the socket, hanging onto my bow flying off the rack.
Right.
It's I don't know. It is what it is. We're getting some snow finally. We are halfway through the gun season, which we'll dive into some of those numbers here. But how was your opening weekend?
Yeah, so you were up north. You were up in the Northwoods with family, and I had a couple. We've taken 3 more does since no bucks. I'm just waiting for a buck. I'm not. Yeah. We have venison. I have enough. So, but if a doe comes by and somebody wants it, and those guys are sitting in the other redneck or they're sitting in the other tree, I'll take the tenderloins and backstraps any day of the week. But so it's been going good. We're obviously seeing deer, or we're seeing deer. I'm seeing a lot of little ones.
Okay.
And not spotty fawns, but obviously this year's drops, or maybe even late season last year drops that are small. I was always under the assumption that somebody told me that the reason why you shoot mature does is because if your mature does are laying in your property and that's their bedding area and this is their home turf, when they hit that certain point, they kick the fawns out.
Right.
So everybody says, oh, yeah, my doe produces 2 nubby bucks. Well, those 2 nubby bucks, until they get to that certain age, mama kicks them off and they're not around the house anymore. So I'm not sure if the does that we have harvested have been the local does or the bedding ones around here, which would be nice. Although the 7 or 8, it looks like I have a romper room going. Deer daycare center. it's like crazy, but there's a lot of nubs. We got a lot of potential, and is that the true story? Is that how it works? But maybe they'll stick around. Obviously, they roam. It's not like I have 500,000 acres. They come and go, but they feel comfortable here. But yeah, that's kind of what we've been seeing. Three mature does harvested, no bucks yet, and a bunch of little ones, and they're still working as time work.
Yeah. Well, and we had talked about that a couple weeks ago that, if you take a mature doe early in the season that does call your place home, the chances of the offspring staying there where they know it's familiar is really high.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. That's right.
So hopefully that is actually the case for you. And
yeah, well, these guys.
Little number turns into something more next year.
Well, yeah.
Maybe 3 years.
This deer daycare center here is they're very, very comfortable. Yeah. I think if we'd open up the barn, I think they might come in here and sleep because they don't go. We get out of the rednecks. A couple guys were just in the redneck. I had one of my players was here last night, and he got out of the redneck and he said they don't even move. They like watch.
Sure.
And he goes, I didn't know if there was mature. I didn't want to scare. I didn't want him to, see and realize that this is a deer blind and someone wouldn't be carrying. I don't want to do that, so I didn't know if I should call you to tell you to come to the plot and scare him off. Yeah. He goes, but I just got out of the stand. I came real slow, went down the ladder. He goes, they looked at me, and I walked towards the west to get back to your house. And he goes, I looked back over my shoulder. There's still 3 of them were still down eating. They didn't even care. The other ones were watching, but they don't even leave.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that is something. Well, and it's just kind of nice to know that as well. Because I'll tell you this, when I walked out early season and I was walking out there, I think it kind of startled them. And, oh boy.
No.
Collapsing.
We got these.
The wind is coming.
We got all them those little fancy outdoor, patio lights that hang those light streets.
When I walked out there for early season, it was pretty much, you had to be super careful going out because they were not as accustomed to it. Now there's been some traffic in and out, so maybe that helps a little bit. It's good to see that, you've had some luck out here and that there's been some things going on. And
so that's here. I really want, because I really thought about it when you told me the issues that you had opening day up on public land. And I don't know if you really want to jump into it, but I thought it was serious. I thought about it while I was in the redneck. And why don't you tell that story? Again, we have some ideas on how we could curb it, but again, it's public land. Right. It's open to everybody. Is there deer etiquette? I guess to listening to your story, as you're going to tell us, there may not be.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to be at the mercy of public land sometimes. A lot of people want to be able to go out and say, hey, I killed this huge buck on public land, but there's so many things that you kind of have to work through and be conscious of with that then that are out of your control. So we have hunted this kind of area, we've scouted, and I told you that I had a spot that I was really excited about, that I had moved and I sat the last couple days of the bow season. I set up a camera down there. I was kind of keeping tabs on things. And I'm like, this is so perfect. It's going to be a great gun stand. I've got a lot more clearance. I've got like up to 100 yards that I can shoot, 150 yards maybe that I can shoot. And we go out on, so my brother and my 2 nephews are coming up and they were spending the whole weekend up there. So we're like, all right, we need to find a couple spots that we can all kind of spread out and kind of cover an area. And we knew they didn't care. So my one nephew is 14, so he had a statewide antlerless tag and a buck tag. So it was nice for him. And then we, of course, still had our 2 doe tags as well. So we're like, okay, well, if we see does while they're up here, we want to have something happen.
Right.
So if it works out, great. We get there. We went up Thursday night, so we had all day Friday that we could kind of putz around and we could look at some things. And
did you sit Friday night?
We did not. No, I did not end up sitting because we're like, all right, is it really worth it, or is it, are we just going to kind of have a day that we're able to kind of do some things around camp and that we can get out and we can look at some spots and make sure that we're all good. So the day got away from us and we just decided, all right, we're not going to sit. We're going to just get everything hung. We're going to get, ready for the weekend.
Right.
So we pull up, and I don't know if these guys were just kind of waiting to see where we parked, but we pull up where we walk in, and 300 yards to the west of us, oddly, right where I wanted to sit, was another vehicle that parked behind us, and they pulled up and they walked right in. So immediately I'm thinking, I can't sit over there now.
Yeah.
These guys are going to come in, they're going to sit there. Well, I ended up just, talking through it with my dad, and I'm thinking, okay, well, we've got, a couple hundred yards between us and where those guys walked in. It would have been perfectly spread out for my brother and my nephews to be kind of in between us, and then we would have had probably a good 600 yards of the woods covered, figuring if there's anything that moves through there.
We got it.
Well, I end up sitting in my stand that I have sat in. My dad took one of my nephews in the ground blind, and then we just kind of moved my brother and my other nephew on the ground. They were fine with just sitting on the ground because they get antsy. They're duck hunters, so they've got like a good 3 hours in them. So they...
Ground blind or on ground?
Just on
like
the
turkey,
ground,
like turkey hunting ground. Okay.
And opening morning comes, we get everybody kind of set up out there, and not more than 10 or 15 minutes after shooting light, those knuckleheads walk in and they shoot a deer right away. So it was not even probably 150 or 200 yards from where my brother and my nephew were sitting. They walk in late and they shoot a deer right away. Okay, fine, whatever. That's just a chance that we take with that. I think shooting hours were 6:44 or 6:45 up by us with the plus 12. And about 7:10 or 7:15 at the latest, I start hearing guys doing deer drives. And I'm like, it's just our luck. We've been lucky kind of like every other year almost that, maybe they'll move and they'll push the other side of the road or, and so we had the unfortunate circumstance of 7 guys walking right through our set where my brother saw 4 and I saw 3 of them. And the one thing that I will say that at
4 and 3 guys, not total, deer.
Yes,
you saw guys, yes, okay.
No deer. The fortunate thing that I will say is for the first time ever, I heard the guys that saw my brother and nephew first shouting out, orange ahead, don't shoot forward. Okay, so that was at least a little peace of mind that, okay, if they see a deer, they're not going to shoot this direction because they know there's guys sitting over here. Right. About 10 minutes later after I hear, it's like a slow death kind of out there because you hear them and it's getting louder and it's getting louder and it's getting louder. And there's an access road about a mile or a mile and maybe 2 miles south of where we are. So what they did is they went in on the access road and they pushed the whole property towards us. Okay, so everybody says it's great for deer drives because they get deer up and moving. Well, the only thing that I saw was a coyote, and I didn't have a chance to shoot it because it was sprinting through us.
Really?
And I'm disappointed that I didn't get a chance at it because I certainly would have. I got my small game license and everything, so I could have legally harvested it. But it stopped behind a big cluster of trees, and then it took off sprinting. So my nephew got to see it. My dad got to see it because it ran in between us. And as these guys approached us, they kind of just said, hey, hopefully we push something towards you guys. Well, before they got to us, I don't know if they were maybe 100 yards out of sight, but we could see them. All of a sudden, we hear them shoot, and the one thing with deer drives, if they shoot once, they're probably shooting everything they have.
Right.
Most likely, which was a common theme for the weekend. We hear them shoot, and when they approached us, the guy says, oh, yeah, we didn't hit it. They just moved back in deeper, so they should come back out. I'm like, okay, well, I'm pretty sure you blew up the woods for at least the entire morning. I don't know if they're going to come back, but if they do, it probably won't be until later at night.
Right.
So from 7:10 or 7:15 until about 8 o'clock when those guys finally came and saw us, all we heard was the hooting and hollering all morning. And it's just so frustrating because you spend time scouting and putting in the effort to find a spot where you know there's deer and your trail cameras are telling you that there's deer and you think that you have an opportunity to at least shoot a doe, and then people just show up for gun season and it's just, hey, yeah, we know there's public land here. Here's the access. We'll walk through it. And it is what it is. That's the unfortunate side of public land.
Right.
And I know what everybody says. It's always two things. Public land is public land. Deal with it. Okay, fair enough. I'm not arguing the fact that public land is public land. And the other thing is that they always push deer to you, or your chances of getting a deer pushed to you are higher. Well, we went 3 for 3 on morning sits with people driving the woods before 7:30 in the morning, so within 45 minutes of shooting hours.
They drove every day?
Every day we had drivers in the woods.
Oh, I thought just opening day.
Yeah. So every day we had drivers out there. And we just, finally on Monday, we were supposed to get rain late in the afternoon. I'm like, look, this just isn't even fun anymore. And so I had texted you about that, and I started thinking more and more about how the numbers are declining. And from what I have seen and from what I have heard, I had posted a story on Friday when we were getting everything set up for the weekend. Huh? And I just posted a story saying I despise gun season.
I did. I saw it.
And the number of people who loved or liked that story versus the one person who sent me a message saying, get over yourself, were far outweighed by the people in favor of that post.
Right.
Because people have just kind of gotten to the point where I don't know if it's just because there's so many people out there and that's the way that they think that it's the best way to harvest a deer. But there's so many people that seem to I'm going to say this and then I'll explain, seem to have lost etiquette for hunting in the woods. Now, the pro deer driver population will say, well, it increases your chance of seeing deer because if they're bedded down somewhere, they'll get them up and moving and hopefully they push them towards you. The other side of it is they blow up the woods for the day. So if there were deer that were moving in that area, they may move any direction. Not to mention the fact that it just feels like if you park and you have people posted somewhere, you know that there's vehicles in a certain spot.
So you had 7 drivers and you don't know who was posted
or where
right. Behind or from where they started to between you, Dad, right. Everybody, and then where they were. So let's just say 7 guys drive. Let's just say they had 3 posters at the end.
Yeah.
Again, you find 10 hunters on opening day. We've talked about time and what they believe in and how is hunting changed. It has, because there's 10 hunters that if you would have said that 10 guys, even 10 years ago, or even 15 years ago, I got 10 hunters that are going to make a drive opening morning, you wouldn't find it because everybody wants to sit.
Right.
Now they don't.
And we I don't know, we tolerate it, and we just kind of, it almost feels like we sit for gun season now just as the tradition of it, knowing that there's a good chance that anywhere that we sit in that area, because we hear them all over the place. I mean, and these guys are pushing thousands of acres of public land up there. So the people who say scout better or sit deeper or whatever it might be, you can't really avoid it when it comes to gun season.
Right,
these guys are pushing, thousands of acre parcels at a time, and it's every day.
Right.
And it was just really unfortunate to see that it was so early. Because, I was even sending my nephews trail camera pictures from the night before that there were deer everywhere. And all of a sudden you get these guys that are out there and they're blowing up the woods, making all this racket.
Noise, scent.
We didn't see a deer on camera for 4 days that we were up there, even at night.
Really? They were gone.
They were gone. And they were either they were gone or they were harvested, and teach their own. If that's how you want to do it, that's how you want to do it. I personally think that I don't know that they'll ever do anything about changing regulations on something like that, but if I could have it my way, at least give us the opening morning.
Yeah.
And there's different ways to go about it, and I know that everybody's just going to say it's public land, we can do whatever we want out there, and you have to deal with it, and it's very self-serving in a sense that, those people are being favored because they can do it their way, but the other people can't.
Right.
And so what is the right answer? I mean, I guess the right answer is you just have to deal with it, or you have to find a different place. So when you hear people talk about, there's no more public land because it's all getting bought up.
That's why.
Because people are fed up with just a lack of etiquette or a lack of awareness. And I know I'm going to post something about it on Instagram, and I know for a fact going into it, I'm going to get torched because people are like, public land is public land and deal with it and scout better and yada, yada, whatever. But, I've worked really hard to scout that piece.
Right.
And make sure that they were there. And
so when you said that, when you said something, I know they probably can't change it, but like I told you earlier, I remember, and I don't know if this rule is still in place, but around here, Teresa by the marsh, as I'm on my way up to Oshkosh, Fond du Lac, I know that there's a couple sites that are public.
Yep.
They drop pheasants. The DNR unloads pheasants.
Yep.
The release dates and times aren't made to the public. If you know something, you know something. But I thought a few years ago that regardless of where they drop them, doesn't matter. They're not going to tell you. You can't hunt until 2 p.m. So that's why when I said to you, you know what? I get it. You know what? But if you're going to have public land, you have to be cooperative. Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. So maybe you can't drive until noon. I know. Maybe you're a morning guy and you say, I want to sit in the afternoon. Okay, or I want to sit in the afternoon and I want to drive in the morning. But if you could make something to that effect, how hard that would be. But it always just seems like mornings are that hunting tradition.
Yeah.
You go up, you guys got up Friday, you got situated, you had dinner, you go have your fish fry, and you're excited and you wake up Saturday morning to sit. Do you sit Saturday morning to get out there at 6 a.m., first shoot or first light, 6:45, and to see orange jackets underneath you in an hour? No.
Right.
No.
Right.
No.
Yeah, it's just, it really got me thinking of, how things have changed and how it's so much different. And I'm starting to think that maybe it isn't just the older population that's getting out of hunting. I'm starting to think that it's a lot of people. Because could you imagine... okay, so my nephew's 14, my other nephew's 19. Well, this is only their second year coming up, but if that's what they experienced every time they went out deer hunting,
they ain't coming back.
They wouldn't want to come back.
No.
They just wouldn't see the fun.
No, exactly.
And I don't know. And it's so funny to see the reaction on social media with this because it's so polarizing. Yeah. It's like crossbow hunters versus compound hunters, and like just how so many people are adamantly one way or the other.
Right.
And you can't really win the argument because everybody's going to just always be stuck in their own kind of mindset of what they think is right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I hope that changes eventually.
If you think of yes, finally. But you think about that, you're right. Now I go back to even summer fishing, no trolling, no wake, no this, no wakeboards. And again, that's not my cup of tea. But now all of a sudden, wait a minute, this is a public lake. I can't wakeboard because you're going to tell me some study says that the shoreline is going to erode in the next 150 years, or you're going to tell me that it's too loud because you want to have a nice quiet dinner now because you played all day. I can't get out to the boat until afternoon, but you guys boated all morning and now you want to have a nice bonfire and you don't want my boat around.
Right.
You're right. No matter what, you're going to get tortured. There's always two sides to a story. And it seems like when it comes to public access, public availability, you're always going to have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is what it is. That's the Wisconsin gun deer season.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Which is sad.
It is
really sad because there's so much history and tradition with it. And it just, I just kept telling myself, this isn't fun. This isn't
Right.
fun. I don't even want to do this. And, then the deer driver population will say, well, good, that's just more deer for us to shoot.
I wonder what the overall, be interesting to see if anybody responds or someone, texts or sends us something. When did you usually, because I've always had the unwritten rule of you always sat and did it in all your driving generally, especially around here. Mm-hmm. Now there's a lot of farmland here. There's a lot of buddies of mine that harvest and they work and they do their fields, but they don't drive until like Saturday or Sunday. They always wait till after Thanksgiving. And then usually maybe if they drive Friday and they'll drive Saturday or they just drive Saturday, then all the deer they have, and they'll cut up deer Saturday night, even with Sundays still, open to the public. But
yeah, well, and I think that's a big part of why it's just become less and less of a 9-day gun season, and now it's more of a 2 or a 3-day gun season for so many people.
Yeah.
As we were kind of talking about this, the other thing that you always hear from people is, well, that's why bow hunters have 6 months to shoot deer. Okay, well, bow hunting's pretty hard.
Right,
right. I mean, you've gracefully set me up here where there's deer in the field every day, and it doesn't happen that easy.
Right.
It still has to really all come together, especially when you're talking about big mature whitetails. They're too smart to be stupid.
And though we laugh about the little ones that are out there right now, they don't move and stuff like that. But the big ones, obviously, you see my wall. There's not a lot of 170 inchers up there, but we have them on camera. I think when they hear the goddamn window crack, they're gone. So, the little ones are the little ones, and it's neat to see. It's good for the girl. It's good for, like you said, nature looking. But yeah, you're right. Bow hunting is hard, and a mature whitetail isn't one that's just going to sit around and watch you walk down the ladder and say, oh, okay, shoot me. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah, it does not really happen. I don't know if you saw, and I don't think I have the article, so we could just kind of touch on it quickly, but we always talk about some of the things that are happening throughout the state, and, with gun season comes accidents. Yes. And there was a guy in Fond du Lac County, a Lomira man, that was found deceased after an accidental discharge next to his stand. But that is the only fatality or accident that has been reported or publicly been made at this point. One death is too many, and that's really unfortunate. And I don't know. I guess that's just part of just being safe with your firearm, and who knows what happened. But
I think he was up in Oakfield.
Okay.
Or he's an Oakfield resident out of Fond du Lac County, somewhere up there. Yeah. Young kid with a family.
I think it was, mid-20s.
Yeah, I think he was 24, 25 years old. Poor, for the family, you just say, all thoughts and prayers, God bless them, because it's going to be a tough ride. But, you're right. Any loss is a loss, and you usually stay away from it. And how it happened, it doesn't matter. It happened, and it's just a sad story.
Right. Yeah, it's I don't know. You hate to hear that, and every year it seems to be the case that there is actually something that comes out of that.
And you would think more in your situation. Yeah, you had mentioned earlier that, hey, orange ahead, but when you're driving public, how often do you look? Do you get on OnX and go, okay, we got this, let's park over here on Liberty Road, and we're just going to drive. You set up here, and we're going to go, not knowing actually what's in front of you, what's behind you. I don't know any drivers, unless you've gone repeatedly to that same area, but if you're checking out a new piece, you don't know what's there.
Right.
You don't know what's in front of you, so you're winging it. You're walking through it, and you're firing straight ahead. So, again, crazy that a lot of things don't happen, especially with that driving situation. You got 7 guys pushing with a gun, shooting ahead with maybe 2 or 3 posters. Bound to have a fatality.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. And fortunately for us, it has never come to that, and we've never been shot at, but I don't know. I think I saw one of the comments, somebody said, oh, they were hit with bark flying because they were close enough to a tree that did get hit. And it's like, oh, my God, it just...
Well, that's why my dad... I didn't tell you that. That's why my dad doesn't deer hunt. That's why my dad doesn't deer hunt. He was in the stand. Yeah. He was one of the posters. And they were driving. I believe they were driving. And someone took a shot, and the bullet hit right above his head, right into the tree. He will not... He'll duck hunt. He'll upland game hunt. fish, he'll do everything, but he will not gun deer hunt. He would not do that.
Yeah.
And
all those things, whether it's a significant impact or not, play a part in numbers changing.
Yeah.
Whether that's for the better or for the worse. I think it's for the worse, but
yeah, I agree.
What can you even do about that then? So I did send you an article about the DNR releasing preliminary numbers from the first weekend.
Yeah, I did see that, yes.
So 90,000 deer were harvested statewide over the first weekend. That's almost a 4% below the 5-year average. Of those 90,000 deer, 49,000, we'll call it, were antlered deer. So 49,000 bucks were shot. That was last year, and the 7% from last year. Now, I don't really know how the math works out for that. If there's a 7% increase from last year, I'm not really sure how that makes sense. If the antlered bucks were the same as last year and the antlerless were up 7%, but it's a 4% increase, I guess maybe that works out. It just goes back to the fact of, we've had a couple really mild years.
Yes.
So, hopefully those numbers continue to trend upward. That, I don't know, they said favorable conditions, it was pretty mild opening weekend as well. So I think that helps because it's easy for people to get out and drive with their jeans on and jacket.
Right. Did you see that one part on it where it says the central farmland zone is the...
Okay.
Remember we were talking maybe a couple years ago. We were talking is the populations north, like where you are. Does the wolf? It was forcing. I don't know what that number. That'd be curious to see
how the trend was.
Yes, like 90,000 opening weekend in 2010.
Yeah.
There were, but more in the northern zone. Right. But as those woods and the predators and the wolves, regardless of whether you want to believe it or not, there are predators out there. The bear, and we did talk about this when we had the guy on with the black bear, Joe, and he said that the black bear is the one animal, and he believes, and that I thought he said was, that is the only animal that can smell the birth of a new fawn.
Wow.
Supposedly a fox, coyote, and a wolf cannot smell that. Whatever.
Interesting.
Is there truth to that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it a folklore?
Right.
Maybe. But he said the bear. So now you had bears, they were taking the bear population up there, so everything's moving to the central farmland zone where they believe they're safe. Hence the fact that we have city tags because the deer are so comfortable down here and heavy down here.
Right. Yeah, I see that. And what's also interesting, it's the largest zone in the state, stretching across Wisconsin from Pierce to Door County. Includes Marathon, Portage, and most of Wood County. Now, I have heard that Portage is pretty good for deer population. I think that's usually higher up there in per square mile for their population estimates.
Great cover, water, everything.
Which surprises me with Door County, though, because that... I don't know. I had thought that was far enough north, but I guess you got to travel up into the thumb for wolves to get there. So I don't know. Maybe they're kind of getting pushed up into that.
Yeah, that is. That is weird.
DNR reminds hunters to always test their deer for CWD. Most cases have been reported in the southwest part of the state. So I have heard that as a recurring theme of kind of pushing towards that southwest corner, a lot of that ag land down there.
Yep.
And then they add hunters who are looking to get a full head mount. Okay, it's a shoulder mount. They should contact a local taxidermist to keep the inner part of the head so they can be tested for CWD. Those looking to get Euro mounts should look to remove lymph nodes themselves, actually. And the DNR has posted a very detailed way about going about that, so they've provided a good amount of information there. And to be able to test them yourselves, too. So, yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting just to see what... I just saw another article saying that, what did I say last week or 2 weeks ago? 2.1 million was the estimate for deer. I think that was the number that I had heard or that we had talked about. 2.1 for a million.
I thought did you
million estimate for the state, and that was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I just saw a report this weekend. Now they think it's 3 million.
No, you did say 3 million, didn't you?
I don't know.
Because I thought we said like 600,000 hunters with a 33% success rate.
Okay.
So that, because then we went from 3 million to 2.8 million. We thought if the 600,000 do harvest 33% and take 200,000. Yeah. Because I did see, as you were talking, we were talking about licenses, and they did come out. They did say that there was a slight decrease in license purchases again. Yeah. And remember, you had said last week that the Friday before is always, or they predict always to be the biggest day to buy your licenses too. Yeah. So but those numbers are
Well, I guess we'll see what ends up happening with this. I think I don't know. I'm glad that I won't be in the Northwoods for second weekend, because if they were driving that hard first weekend, I don't think I want to be out there second weekend. And it's funny too. Like I said, if somebody shoots once, they're not shooting just once.
Correct.
You know, and we heard so many. I think the most that I heard, I think it was when I finally just got fed up. Monday morning, we heard 4 calls for deer and between 40 and 50 shots.
Really?
And I'm like, I think I'm done.
We duck hunting? Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, and it's these, and whatever. I mean, take whatever you want to hunt. If you're hunting with an AR or whatever, that's fine. I don't care what you use. Shooting 10 times at a deer, maybe you should go to the range. Yeah. I don't know. It's just my thought. And it's funny because there was a post about, somebody had posted on the Rut Report page that I was always brought up 1 shot, 1 kill, and accuracy and spending the time at the range and doing that, which, I'm guilty of it too. But having that mindset and then hearing that, he was basically just ragging on the people who were out there shooting, 10 times at one deer.
Yes.
Everybody's like, oh, well, what if it was 5 deer that they were shooting at and they were at 50%? Or it's like, whatever. But we also know that so many people just go away for opening weekend, and if they brought a box of ammo with,
they use it.
They're not bringing it home with them.
Right. And they're going to put it back in the case when they get home, and they're not going to pull it out again until next year, November 22nd.
Yes, exactly. Oh. So, all right, well, Mr. Wagner, we're the day before Thanksgiving, and I wanted to pull up an article about some Thanksgiving wild game recipes. And I think we've kind of done this before. But you can tell me yay or nay on these. So some of these sound good. Some of these I'm not so sure about. I don't know if I saw a squirrel one. Oh, by the way, my nephew, the last day, he was trigger happy, shot a squirrel. He's like, you know what? I'm done with this. And then he somehow managed to dangle it perfectly in front of my trail camera to let me know that he shot it. So I have a picture of just a squirrel in front of my trail camera. All right, recipe number 1, balsamic roast quail with sage chestnut stuffing.
Way too sophisticated.
It's way too sophisticated. If somebody else was making it, I'd eat it.
A black tie event? I mean, what is this? Is this
maybe a tuxedo.
Exactly. No, that sounds like someone's wedding.
Well, also you need 8 quail. So I don't know if you got a freezer full or if you were just spending a lot of
quail
time
are small, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
so I suppose you probably need a bunch of them.
Like they're smaller than partridge or grouse or whatever. I believe they are. I don't think they're the size of mourning doves, but they're
no.
Yeah, but they're smaller. I think. Yeah.
Venison roast with cranberry sauce. I think that's.
That'd be fair to do that. Yes, that's
2 to 5 pound venison roast, and then all your fixins with it. 2 cups of cranberry, some maple syrup. Yeah, I think that sounds pretty good.
Maple syrup, a little bit of sugary. Yeah. I like that.
Okay, best turkey ever recipe. I'm not really sure what makes that different. Oh, it looks like you would brine it and then 24-hour brine in the cooler. I mean, that's pretty standard.
Yeah.
Duck stuffing recipe. Change it up this turkey day and try this duck stuffing recipe cooked outside of the bird instead of inside. So 12 ounces of duck or goose meat. You got some pork fat or bacon, butter, onion, celery stalks, mushrooms, some walnuts.
That sounds
too bad, huh?
That sounds outstanding.
Yeah.
That really does. That sounds good.
Okay.
That's my number 1. That's my number 1 so far.
Number 1 so far. Okay, venison scotch pies. Scotch pies are filled with ground venison gravy, making them the perfect handheld treat. You know what? This looks terrific. I feel like it would be kind of a pain in the rear to make. It's basically like a phyllo dough or that like puff pastry kind of stuff, and then just making them that way.
Yep.
With ground venison, I think that'd be a great way. You know, and I might actually try making something like this because we've got a bunch of ground venison that we can use, and we're always looking for different ways to use it.
Yeah. How are they prepared? Oven or fryer or what?
Let's see. It looks like they're baked.
Gotcha.
So.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, we're getting fancy again. Spicy apricot bourbon wild turkey recipe.
Too much of a hat.
What about just cooking a bourbon stuff?
Yeah. Too much for me.
Is that the last one? I think that's the last one. Oh, venison pot pie recipe. Okay, we still got to do one of those pheasant pot pies.
Yeah, you got to take out a second loan.
Yeah, you might, but maybe we'll get a sponsor that'll.
Yeah, they're good. I had a couple buddies from Oconomowoc that ran up to Milford and they did it, and they brought it there. I go, you pick me up one? Yeah, pick me up one. And they brought it back, and you know who they are. I go, hey, where's that pot pie? He goes, two things. First off, it cost me an arm and a leg to get it.
Yep.
Second of all, since I paid that much, I ate it myself. They weigh like 38 pounds.
Oh my
I don't know.
I know. Okay, I thought we were done. Goose breast with cranberries recipe. I don't know.
I'm not. Are you a goose? Because you said that last one, the duck stuffing, or you could do goose.
Yeah, this has an option for either a pound to a pound and a half of duck or goose breast.
Yeah, so
I would do duck over goose.
So would I, and I've had that. I just had some more of that goose jerky.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how they prepared it, how they made it. I mean, how you dry it out, what seasonings they use. You know, did they use Mr. Buck Rub or something like that? But whatever it was, the goose jerky was pretty good.
Yeah,
really good.
My brother, I think I told you that. That's what they do with all their goose.
Yeah.
Every goose
breast
they have,
okay.
That's what they do for all of it. And so for Black Friday, my brother is buying a new dehydrator because he sent me a picture of his, and I was like, no wonder why it takes you 24 hours to make one batch of jerky. That thing looks like it's from 1980.
Oh, gotcha.
Maybe it was like one of those push presents for mom when she had you because it's about 50 years old. So, yeah. So I don't know. I think that's all that I got for those. So we're the day before Thanksgiving. It's cleaned up. It's pretty in here. You must be hosting.
Yeah, and
there's vacuum lines on the carpet. It feels a little high end for us. But
I took my shoes off. I don't want to get yelled at for coming in here. The girls worked really hard on it. No, we cleaned it up pretty good, and we kind of keep this as obviously there's going to be a lot of snow coming in the weather, but usually the lights go on and the beer is full. We always have leftovers from Thanksgiving. So a lot of the guys are from around here, whether they're, with Corey Oil or they're with the different areas or they're up at the farm or even the whichever way they go, north, south, east. If the lights are on, they'll usually stop by. One guy will stop by. They hunt. If the lights are on, they'll come in and he brings me Bloody Mary mix all the time and stuff like that. So we try to keep it as clean as possible because it does get dirty and rammed up. But so Thursday is generally just the family here.
Okay.
And then Friday I'll run over to my brother's house. Yep. And then Saturday and Sunday it's kind of the free-for-all, and that's where it kind of gets dirty. So we always like to start it clean.
Sure.
And then let it go.
But
so I bought these things. So the other side of the barn, like when you walk in, the cold side, the two heaters are on there. We'll turn them on. I mean, the games are over there. So the kids can play games at the shuffleboard and the hoops. And we put the Pac-Man and the dartboards and all that stuff over there. But I bought these. I don't know if they're for production purposes or not, but they're I'm going to say they're like 6 feet by 8 feet. They're just black screens.
Okay.
So I was told that because of those shelves and where all my hunting stuff is, and there's actually a couple knives there that haven't been cleaned yet, and there's dirty boots and stuff. So I put those up, so it kind of like sections it off. So it's kind of nice. So there is a clean spot. So the rule is, if you're going to make a mess, go behind the wall.
Go behind the wall.
Go behind the walls.
Oh, that's good.
What about you?
So we were volunteered by my wife to host her family this year. So the in-laws bought a place down in Florida a couple of years ago, and my father-in-law is a veteran, and so he was a part of a committee down in Florida that always did something for Veterans Day. So their goal was to always get down there by then, a couple of days in advance, so they could help with festivities and whatever they do. So we were up there late this year, October sometime, and they're kind of, thinking about getting ready to go down and all that. And she said, well, I was talking to Landry, and she said, we'll even come up the day before and we'll cook everything up here in advance if you guys host. And they said, well, it's still kind of a lot. We're still hosting, and of course we're still going to end up making stuff, whatever. So she said, well, what if we host this year? And I'm thinking, okay. Well, I know that there's going to be a lot.
You're okay with that, Eric, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Whatever you want,
okay.
Sure.
So we are hosting tomorrow, and it's kind of funny. I get home from hunting yesterday, and at about 1 o'clock I walk in the door, and I wasn't even in the door, and I got a text message, I hope you're ready. I'm putting you to work when you get here. I'm thinking,
oh, yeah, I forgot this big stuff. I got to get gas.
Oh, shoot, we got a flat tire. I'm trying to figure out what we're going to have an issue with.
Took a wrong turn. I'm in Iowa.
Yeah. So I get home, 4 hours I'm doing projects, hanging pictures, hanging mirrors.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I'm not complaining.
No,
no.
No, I'm not complaining.
So today I have to, I've got a couple things that we're doing today. We're recording the show, obviously, and I've got a couple errands to run. Picking up things for tomorrow, but she's pretty much got everything. I think the girls are going to start cooking this afternoon, and then, we'll host tomorrow. Everybody will probably be there in advance of the Packer game tomorrow.
Good.
And then, after that, I think I'll see you a couple times this weekend and
Perfect.
Do a couple early mornings. And
are you making anything for Thanksgiving? Like, are you doing any the wrapped jalapeno?
I'm not doing anything.
No, you're not doing venison
I'm
poppers or anything like that.
Pass out hot sticks to the guys.
Yeah.
We usually do some sort of an exchange like that, either at Christmas or Thanksgiving if we're together. The menu's already planned. I wasn't involved with that. That was part of the deal after we left the in-laws. I said, this sounds great, but I just want you to know I'm not going to really probably be there much until like the day before.
Right.
Said, okay, I'll take care of everything.
Right.
Okay, well, I know how this is going to end up. But we've got pretty much everything taken care of. There'll still be some cleaning and some things like that, vacuuming, whatever. So it's funny. So we moved our dining room table into, I don't even really understand it. We have like a living room and a family room. I don't know what the difference is. So you remember that the front room in our house that we redid the floors?
Yeah.
It's got the big bay window in it. So we have a full table and another 8-foot table adjacent to that. So it kind of bleeds into the living room.
Yeah.
Whatever other one. So now I've been joking ever since I got home that we have a grand ballroom in our house. It's got a chandelier and wood floors.
We took the East Wing.
Yeah. So I said maybe we should have like a Dancing with the Stars finale or something as a game for Thanksgiving this year. But it's it'll be great. It'll be good to get everybody together. It's been a couple years since we've done a Thanksgiving with her family. So,
that's good.
Usually it's been a little bit smaller, just like 6 or 8 people, and it'll be nice to have 15 at the house on tomorrow.
Wow.
So, but it'll be good. It'll be great, and Sherry's cooking everything, so I can sit back and
so we make
after
these
all of the prep.
So you don't make your things. So we make these things called these crostinis. I don't know. We make this French loaf bread, and they're real thin, and then puts on this caper sauce, and it goes on top of roast beef.
Okay.
And a little tomato on the top. I drop some parsley on them. I eat them. I crush them. They're like finger foods, right?
Okay.
So I get the list. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'll pick it up. I was up at a stadium, and I'm like, I'll run into Sendix real quick. And I talk to Brandon and those guys. And I'm like, so I go over to the deli. I need this London. I don't even know what the hell it's called. London broil, roast beef, port, whatever. Yeah, we got that. Perfect. I go, I think I need, she said, how about if you give me 2 pounds? I go, yeah, okay, 2 pounds. I go, whoa, what is this? $49? I go, what? well, yeah, you got this. I go, whoa. I said,
can you unshave it?
Yeah, I said, I said, not shaved. I go thinly, as thin as possible, but don't get it shaved.
Yeah.
I go, how about that roast beef right there for like $6.99 a pound? Let's just shave the crap out of that, and nobody will know
the difference.
Yeah, nope. Pick and choose your battles. Pick and choose your battles. But anyway, yeah, so it should be good. Hope everybody, has a good Thanksgiving and stuff. Like you'll enjoy it, and then you'll come out, depending on weather, whatever we can, and we'll try to get something. We'll try to get something more. So we need more deer going.
Well, I think we can wrap it up there. To all of our listeners, I hope everybody's got good plans for Thanksgiving. That it's kind of that time of year where you take a moment just to kind of reflect and think about everything that's happened that year, and thankful or not thankful for certain things in your life. And here we are. We're at the tail end of another year, and we can kind of look back, and I'm sure we'll go down that memory lane and talk about all the new things that we've done this year and new experiences that we've shared. And so we won't do that now, but just want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and hope everybody that's traveling stays safe. We're in for some weather this weekend, and I will say that coming home on Tuesday was really nice because I think we missed a majority.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, that is true. That is true. And then we have muzzle loader afterwards. Yep. So a couple guys have said that if they don't take the buck that they want up north, they'll be over here. At least one, not necessarily get a bit, whatever. At least they can fill a buck take. Remember, you still have that. Yep. And then I did see in my area, we can check on this as we move forward. Late season bow ends. I'm not a metro unit, but I think my late season bow ends January 31st here. So we have to check that.
Yeah, we'll have to double check that because that is the late extended season.
I thought for sure because Dodge. I thought I got it. I wasn't sure, but we'll see on that. But anyway, again,
those maps aren't like specific. I don't think to the county. There is some overlap.
Yeah, I think you're right. So I think you're right.
That's where you fit into that.
Yeah, I know that when I look at the map, I don't have the metro unit lines through it. I'm a solid color, so I believe that I think that's January 31st. But again, safe travels back home from Thanksgiving, wherever you go with family and friends. And then hunt safe as we continue on through the hunting season, and we'll keep talking.
Okay. For Paul Wagner, it's Eric Tasker, another episode of Tailgate Talk. Find us anywhere that you listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio app, and we will talk to you next time.